I don't think there's ever a way of getting away from rejection. You're always going to be rejected from something, but it's how we look at it. It's how well we tolerate it. It goes back to the idea of whether or not we take things personally. And the first thing I wanted to say was that not everything is personal, but if we take it that step further, we know that really nothing's personal. Everything is about ourselves, which means that for the other people that we encounter, everything for them is about them. It's coming from their experiences, their perspectives. This is the Energy Within podcast, all about accessing, nurturing, and building your energy and confidence so that you can design your life the way you want. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this episode is all about rejection. So I've mentioned this podcast a few times here on my podcast, but if you don't listen to the Don't Keep Your Day Job podcast with Cathy Heller, first of all, highly recommend it. Go check it out. Not right now, but after you listen to this one. But Cathy Heller runs a program called Made to Do This, which I have not done yet, but every time she launches it, she runs a free 5-day challenge that leads up to it. And it actually usually turns into a 2-week challenge, 10 days, where there's review and live videos all the time and so many prizes and giveaways and just so many good takeaways. And each time that I've done the free challenge, I have always had some sort of realization or something hit me a little harder, even if it's something that I've heard before. Maybe she said it in a different way, or I just needed to hear it again. And so it resonated. And one of the things that she said that I wanted to then talk about here on my podcast was about rejection. And she said, what if you could tolerate being rejected? How would your life change? And I really like that way of looking at it because I've realized probably over the last year that I still struggle with a fear of rejection. As much as I like to think that it's not there or that it's gone away, and it has gone away on some level, but it's clearly still there a little bit. It's hiding in the back corner, peeking up whenever something that used to call it out suddenly shows up and calls it out. And it just peels back that curtain and goes, hi, I'm still here. So as confident as I've gotten, as much as I show up now more than I ever have in the right energy, and the right energy for me is what I mean, the energy that I want to be in, despite the fact that I very much enjoy being in the spotlight. I have no problem getting up in front of people, teaching a class, doing a speech, singing a song, doing a dance, whatever it is that I feel I am good at, I am ready. But I did spend a lot of my life growing up being rejected, feeling rejected, knowing that I was rejected. A lot of it, it's not always in your head. It really isn't. And I don't say that to allow for room to blame others, but to acknowledge that there are circumstances that we cannot control. But as you heard in the podcast with Mindy, and like I always say, the only thing we can control is ourselves and how we show up and how we react. So I'd like to think that things would have been a little different for me if I had chosen to react differently. But when you're a kid, I mean, you have an excuse, I think, when you're a kid, because you're still learning. You don't even know who you are yet. And we just want so badly to be accepted, to be loved, to be seen. And if instead we're rejected, especially when we're kids, it's even harder to shake that off, and it shapes us a little bit. It becomes part of who we are and how we look at things and how we experience things. And I still deal with rejection. I don't think there's ever a way of getting away from rejection. You're always going to be rejected from something. But it's how we look at it. It's how well we tolerate it. It goes back to the idea of whether or not we take things personally. And the first thing I wanted to say was that not everything is personal. But if we take it that step further, we know that really nothing's personal. Everything is about ourselves, which means that for the other people that we encounter, everything for them is about them. It's coming from their experiences, their perspectives, the way they're looking at things, the way they're feeling and experiencing what's going on that's causing them to reject you. And it's okay if our energies don't align with someone else. It doesn't have to. It's when we try to force the energies to match, or when we sit there and internalize it and personalize it and make it about us, that things become difficult, that we sit with that rejection for too long, that we make it a part of us and we make it the lens that we're looking at our life through. There will always be rejection. There's no way around it. We do not fit with everybody. We do not fit in every situation. We're not good at everything. And if you think you're good at everything, you're lying. Good on you for having such positive ways of looking at yourself. So I'm not taking that down from you at all. But we do need to be realistic and acknowledge that we're not all good at everything. And if we were, what's the point? What's the point of being here then? What's the point of having this experience? What more is there to learn? We have nowhere to go, nowhere to grow. So we can't be good at everything. That's why we have a specialty. That's why we have a niche. That's why we chose a major in college. That's why we're on the path that we're on. That's why certain things light us up and other things we dread doing. It's meant to be that way. So what if we could go into every experience understanding, not expecting, but understanding that we might be rejected, and telling ourselves before we go in that if we are, number one, it's not about us. And number two, it's okay. This is where I look at things from us having our own personal power to manifest whatever we want, to make things happen the way we want them to, or maybe not the way we want them to, but I guess, yeah. The outcome being the way that we want them to. Mindy is in my head all the time now. So maybe the path to the outcome doesn't look exactly the way that we expected it to. But we set ourselves up for success with that mental rehearsal, with living in our of course energy. And no matter how we get there, the outcome is what we want. The outcome shows up the way we wanted it to. So if it means we don't get that job, we don't become friends with that person, we don't follow the path we thought we were going to follow to get where we wanted to go, we find another path. Mindy and I met for coffee recently, and we were talking about soul contracts. If you go back to the episode with Victoria Shaw, we were talking about that one a lot and really just hashing out this idea of how much of our life is planned in advance, if you believe that any of it is, and I do, and how much free will do we have? Why did we choose to experience what we're experiencing? Did it come from what was planned beforehand? Or is it purely a result of what we've created while we're here? I think it's a mix of both, but if it's meant to happen for us, it's going to happen, I believe. I do believe we can get in our own way and make it take longer, but it's still going to happen at some point. But I believe two things. One, just because a certain path didn't work out, that it doesn't mean quit or that you suck or you're not good enough. And it also means try a new path. Do quit trying to make that path work if it's obviously not working. You look at it from a new perspective and you try something else. Maybe you don't abandon that entire path, but you abandon that little piece of it that's not really working out. It's proving itself to not be the way. So you change course, even just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a whole 180, but even a little tweak. So if we take the example of maybe trying to get a job, and in some way or another, it's obvious that your energies with the person who was in charge of the hiring, with the manager, with the owner, with whoever that you would be working with, doesn't fit. I don't think that means you're not meant to have a job like that, or to work in that industry, or to reach the level that you're trying to reach. Right or wrong, it just means you've got to go try a different path. Maybe that path is going to be harder. Maybe it sucks. Maybe it feels like it's not right and like it shouldn't be happening. It doesn't mean stop completely. But why would you want to continue to be in that energy, to force your way into that energy? You can't make it match. And it's not a statement on you. It's your guides. It's your higher self. It's God. It's Jesus. It's the angels. It's whoever, the universe, source, spirit, whatever you call it, whoever you feel it is, stepping in and being like, you're on the right track, but not exactly the right path. We need to tweak. Take the lesson, if there is one. Maybe there's not. Sometimes there's not always a lesson, I don't think. But try something else. If you know in your heart, in your soul, that you're on the right path, you can't let any obstacle stop you. You can let it cause you to stop and think, but you can't just let it stop you. The thinking part is okay. The stopping for anything other than thinking is not. If you have a call on your heart, you have a call on your soul, and you can feel it, you'll find a way. It's hard to say it the way I really want to, because on one hand, I want to convey this idea that when you are on the right path, you'll have this level of peace. You'll have this ease about doing what it is that you want to do. But that doesn't mean that it's so easy that there's not going to still be obstacles or things that make you stop and question, or issues that come up. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be just this blissful, flying, hunky-dory, everything is awesome kind of thing. I believe at some point you might reach that level, but when you're on the path to getting there, there'll be a mix. Peace, knowing that you are on the right track and you're doing the right things and you're stepping into your purpose and being true to your soul and who you are and who you want to be. But there's always going to be resistance. There's always going to be rejection. You can't help but encounter people and situations where your energy is not a match. And again, not a reflection on you. It just is. So if we can accept that, if we can tolerate that and move on, it will be easier. I feel like I say this in every podcast, but I hope this is making sense. Reach out and let me know if this made sense, if this was helpful. DM me, join the Energy Within Facebook group, tag me on Instagram. I will love you forever if you do a screenshot or a screen flow and put it up on your social media and you tag me and you tell me what your favorite part was, what resonated the most. I will love you forever. I love you anyway, but I'll love you forever if you do that. And speaking of energy and learning to tolerate rejection, Reiki can help you with that. Seriously, I don't know if I need to niche down or what, but I want to continue doing a good job, hopefully, of explaining to you what Reiki is and what it can help you with. And in relation to today's episode, it can help you to be able to tolerate rejection. We can go in and figure out what chakras for you are speaking up. Each chakra relates to its own physical, mental, emotional, spiritual symptoms. But in a lot of ways, they all tie together. I feel like each one kind of has a little piece of almost everything that you could be experiencing. So there's different areas to go in and look at. And when we do a Reiki session, I connect with your energy and I go in and get a sense of which chakra, which area is calling out to me the most. And we talk about it afterwards. So I'll let you know what I felt, what I saw. Occasionally I'll hear something, not often, but I think I have more the feeling and the knowing for the clair senses than anything else. But we talk about it so that you know what it means, what you can continue to do to keep that energy moving, to clear that all out, to keep the positive, light Reiki energy with you, and raise your vibration and live in that energy that you want to live in. That's going to make you happy, that's going to make you feel good, and that's going to help you keep moving forward so that you can achieve the things you want to achieve. So if you would like to book that Reiki session with me, please simply look for the link in the show notes. I always also include a card pull with every Reiki session so we get a little more clarity. And stay tuned. Maybe by the time I have this podcast up, I'll have it figured out, but if not, stay tuned. I am looking at setting up a way where if you have a day where you just need a card pull, I want you to do the Reiki sessions, but maybe you have a day where you're like, I just need a card pull. I need to know what's going on. I need some clarification, some confidence that I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to look at setting up a way where you can request a card read via email. So do feel free to let me know if that's something you would be interested in. Let me have some feedback on that. I'm going to offer it anyway, but it's nice to know that there's a demand for it. And I'm looking at creating packages for those of you who want to do multiple Reiki sessions, regular Reiki sessions, rather than just one here and there. I'm looking at creating a package or two where you'll have a little bit of a discount for doing multiple sessions. I really just need to figure out, the main thing I need to figure out is how to allow you to select multiple time slots in my calendar and only have to pay one time. I am not good with the tech. I hate that side of it. I should tell myself that I'm good with it, but I'll figure it out. Thank you for listening to me babble. Again, I hope that this was helpful. I'd love to help you further with an individual Reiki session, so please reach out. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. I did do an episode a few weeks back, on what Reiki is and went a little more in depth. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. I would love to see you for a Reiki session. I would love to see you inside the Energy Within Facebook group, where I do come in once in a while and do some group Reiki. I'm trying to do live card pulls more often. And just check my stories too on Facebook and Instagram. Mostly Instagram, that's where I start, and then I share it to Facebook. So Instagram is really the place to catch it right away. I'll be doing some more energy of the day card pulls there, so you can get that as well. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. I'm so glad you've been with me on this journey. We are almost to 100 episodes. That's so awesome. I'm so excited. I got to start planning. What am I going to do to make the 100th episode a big deal? All right. Thank you, as always, for listening, and I will see you next time.